Good evening, I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Tonight, concerning COVID trends in Ontario.
As soon as we see these numbers climb a bit, you get a little gun shy.
Cases are up and testing is way down. Did the province push ahead with reopening too soon?
I'm Andrew Chang. Also, the push for paid sick leave.
It is very stressful. You are pretty much really forced to go back to work.
Ottawa promises 10 days, but for how long? And who will foot the bill?
A CBC News exclusive. Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou appears to stage a courthouse celebration days before a pivotal decision in her case.
And a step towards a potential vaccine.
Very, very excited. This is a major milestone for us.
The Canadian candidate heading for human trials. This is The National.
To fight COVID-19, you first need to find it. You need testing.
Reopening safely depends on it. And as the hardest hit provinces face concerns, they may be moving too fast. Getting testing right has been a struggle.
I want as many people tested as possible, asymptomatic, symptomatic.
Ontario is now widening its criteria to include those who aren't showing symptoms. This after failing to hit its target of 16,000 daily tests for more than a week now. And as the province has been testing less, it's been finding more cases. Not a trend Ontario wants to see. At stake, the pace and scale of reopening in the province. But Ellen Morrow shows us that idea of simply testing more and getting the right message out isn't as simple as it sounds.
At Ontario's COVID assessment centres, longer lines prompted by the Premier's plea to get tested.
But now that it's okay to do it, I'm right on it.
So were Stephen Bosick and his mother, Nancy, both asymptomatic.
The more people that get tested, I think, the more the numbers will go down as far as mortality rates.
Ontario is opening up testing to anyone concerned they may be infected. That as the province's daily case counts trend upward above 400, potentially derailing reopening plans.
As soon as we see these numbers climb a bit, you get a little gun shy.
The Premier, disappointed at crowds this weekend at a Toronto park, had this recommendation.
Why don't you do us all a favor and go get tested now?
But just hours later, the exact opposite advice from top medical officials.
We're not recommending they all go for testing at this point.
There are a lot of messages coming at us, and they're not consistent all the time.
And Ontario may have been too hasty in easing restrictions, says this epidemiologist.
We really want to see consistent downward trends, and we're absolutely not there right now.
Some smaller testing centers fear they won't be able to keep up.
We may not have enough PPE or swabs for the people that are showing up. We need to be doing more testing. I just wish it would have been done in a bit more organized way.
She wanted to go first. She's very brave.
For those who can now get tested, like Arlene Starr and her 10-year-old daughter Jenna, there's relief.
When everyone's tested, then we'll be able to open up even more, and then we'll get.
And the sick people can stay home.
Yeah, and then life will be more normal than before.
That's the hope, anyway. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Toronto.
Ontario's outbreak is second only to Quebec's. That province marked a testing milestone today.
I want to do even more, and we're working on that. But can we be happy that we reached the target of 14,000?
So Quebec's premier celebrated reaching a level of 14,000 tests a day after announcing that target 3 weeks ago. Saskatchewan is also casting a wider testing net. As of today, anyone working outside the home can get a test. But Bonnie Allen tells us in that province, the strategy could actually make the extent of the disease less clear.
Nishta Gandhi's daily routine includes riding the bus to her job at Superstore, where she works as a grocery store clerk.
All the time we have to be cautious.
She'd like to also get routinely tested for COVID-19.
We need to do that. So just add one more thing to your routine.
As of today, anyone working outside their home in Saskatchewan can get a test, no symptoms necessary. But Dr. Alex Wong says he doesn't recommend it to most people, at least not in Saskatchewan.
If you're in Ontario or Quebec, where rates of community transmission presumably are much higher, they still have a lot of cases, this is different. And when the prevalence is higher, then it actually does potentially make a lot more sense to be screening more aggressively asymptomatic individuals to get a better sense of sort of what your rates of community transmission actually are.
So why not here? There are so few cases to find in Saskatchewan, they'd be competing with testing errors that show false positives, distorting the picture.
Which means that you actually have more false positives than you do true positives, which makes it a lot more difficult for us to interpret.
Then there's the issue of negative test results for asymptomatic people.
So that's a negative test right this second. Tomorrow, if that person is symptomatic, that could be COVID.
Manitoba also has a low prevalence of the virus.
We'll probably not be at any point where we just do large, widespread, indiscriminate asymptomatic testing. There's really low value in that.
What is having value for some provinces is testing asymptomatic people in high-risk groups, such as homeless people, hospital patients, or anyone inside a long-term care home.
As Regina has very little case, so you don't feel that scared.
So widespread testing of people without symptoms is expected to bump up testing numbers here. It's just not clear whether it's for public health or public relations. Bonnie Allen, CBC News, Regina.
Okay, so I think now is a good time to bring in infectious diseases specialist Dr. Isaac Bogosh, because Dr. Bogosh, do I have it right that the goal is not necessarily to just test as many people as possible?
Yeah, that's completely correct. The goal is to really have focused testing in groups that are at greater risk for this infection and in areas where if the infection is introduced, it can spread like wildfire. So places like long-term care facilities, homeless shelters, refugee clinics, prisons. The goal is, testing asymptomatic individuals in those settings as really a surveillance system to make sure that the virus isn't introduced. And if it is introduced, we can jump on it quickly to prevent a much larger and devastating outbreak in those settings.
Right. And for those folks who do get tested, I mean, how often? Because, just because you're virus-free one day doesn't mean you won't just catch it the next time you go out.
Absolutely. Fantastic point. And they will have to figure this out moving forward about what's an acceptable frequency of diagnostic testing, because a surveillance program isn't just a one and done program. You have to make sure that there's a regular interval of diagnostic testing in those settings, and because the virus can be introduced at any time along the road. And certainly in the pre-vaccine era, these groups are going to be at higher risk for infection to be transmitted in those communities.
Right. Dr. Bogosh, thanks so much for your insights, and stick around. We're going to talk to you a little bit later in the program. Thanks so much.
Sounds good.
A potential COVID-19 vaccine developed at the University of Saskatchewan is showing some promise. It has worked in ferrets, and human trials are next. But there's another hurdle, making sure there's enough for all of us. Ioana Remiliotis explains.
For the last couple of weeks, the team here has been waiting to exhale, waiting and watching for the smallest sign of a sniffle. And now, happy to report, the ferrets are just fine.
Very, very excited. This is a major milestone for us.
Ferrets, chosen because their respiratory system is similar to humans, were given a vaccine candidate a few weeks ago, then exposed to the COVID-19 virus.
The vaccine induces very good immune responses, and most importantly, it protects these ferrets from the infections.
The findings pave the way for human trials in the fall, a positive step in the global race to find an effective vaccine and to secure Canada's access to it. The federal government has invested nearly $200 million to help create and manufacture a made-in-Canada vaccine. Aside from the team in Saskatoon, Quebec-based Medicago is also getting help to develop and manufacture its plant-based vaccine. But it could get complicated because most of its production capacity is in the U.S.
So it's certainly helpful to have your facility in your country when there's a case of a pandemic, because of course there's a political game.
There have been tugs of war before to be first in line. And while Canada relies on its global partners now, experts say vaccine independence is key.
Borders do get closed because every government's priority is their own population. So having a Canadian supply of vaccine is critical.
We will construct in the upper level there.
It's why in Saskatoon, the plan is to create a successful vaccine and eventually produce up to 10 million doses a month.
This is our job to do, and I think especially now it's important to do this as quickly as possible.
To ensure a Canadian win is one everyone can share in. Joanna Rumeliotis, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, even without a vaccine, more cities across Canada took steps towards reopening today.
I need some walking shoes. I've been walking like 15 to 20 kilometers a day, so my shoes are finished.
In Montreal, retail stores with outdoor entrances opened their doors for the first time in months, and shopping malls outside the Greater Montreal area will be able to reopen next week. But there's no date set for those within the region. And in Calgary, some bars, cafes, pubs, and restaurants can reopen for table service, but only at half capacity. Barbershops and hair salons also slowly welcoming customers back as well, though all businesses now have new health and safety guidelines that they need to follow. Now, many people going back to work are doing so with little financial protection if they get sick. Only PEI and Quebec offer paid sick leave, and even then, not much of it. The Prime Minister has pledged to change that. But as Salima Shivji explains, it's the NDP taking credit for getting him there.
Hi folks, welcome back. We missed you.
The threat of a second wave is real, and so is the financial risk of people going back to work.
Hi Neil, how are you?
A lack of paid sick days is something Dina Ladd hears often, running a hotline for workers' rights.
A restaurant worker, and they told me that the last time they were sick, they lost over $1,000 worth of pay.
A big worry for nurses like Connie Elmadden. She only has a handful of sick days.
So we're still scared of contracting COVID.
Working at a long-term care home that has seen a case of COVID-19.
So you are pretty much really forced to go back to work without enough recovery.
Paid sick days save lives.
An issue before the pandemic that's only heightened now. Most jobs fall under provincial jurisdiction, and most provinces don't have paid sick days for non-unionized workers.
Will the Prime Minister commit to immediately putting in place a guarantee that all Canadians can receive paid sick leave?
The NDP made it a condition to supporting the Liberals on how Parliament will carry on during this crisis, and scored a win today when the government took up the cause.
10 days of paid sick leave a year.
Not the 14 days the NDP was asking for, and many questions still unanswered.
The mechanisms are challenging, and that's why we have to work with the provinces.
So far, only BC has been pushing for it.
This should be a national program with national leadership because it has national consequences.
I'm confident that all premiers will get behind this idea, the short-term proposal and eventually a long-term commitment.
But the prospect of this becoming permanent has some worried.
There are major unintended consequences for small businesses. The big question for us, of course, is who's going to pay for this?
And that's the question for the provinces, too. If this is just a measure for now, or whether it will fall on them or the business sector to pay for it once the immediate crisis is over. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Ottawa.
As more countries ease up on economic and social restrictions, a plea today from the World Health Organization that everyone must remain on high alert.
We cannot make assumptions that just because the disease is on the way down now, that it's going to keep going down, and then we're going to get a number of months to get ready for a second wave. We may get a second peak in this wave.
The WHO specifically mentioned North America, Europe, and Southeast Asia, asking officials to keep up with public health measures. More than 340,000 people have died worldwide. Now, 98,000 of those deaths have been in the United States, yet Memorial Day long weekend didn't look too different than usual. But as Katie Simpson tells us, there was at least one noticeable change in the presidential race.
At his first public outing in 2 months, Joe Biden was willing to do what the president has not. He wore a mask during a 9-minute visit to a local cemetery to honor fallen soldiers, though the message he tried to deliver didn't quite make it through his mask.
Arms!
At Arlington National Cemetery, Donald Trump's face was not covered. Dignitaries were spaced 6 feet apart, but were told to take off their masks ahead of the president's arrival. He also didn't wear a mask at a second event in Baltimore for veterans and their families honoring soldiers on the front lines of the pandemic.
We mourn alongside every single family that has lost loved ones, including the families of our great veterans.
Trump went to Baltimore even though the mayor begged him to stay home.
I think a lot of people are angry and upset that he's even coming to this city. Our city has a stay-at-home order still in place.
Trump's behavior this holiday-long weekend riled his critics. Amid the pandemic, he went golfing, an activity he criticized his predecessor for. He also fired off a series of angry tweets and retweets. One called Hillary Clinton a skank. He shared a post taking aim at Joe Biden's possible running mate that said Stacey Abrams went to every buffet in Georgia, and rehashed false claims about a popular cable news host trying to link him to the death of a staffer. His Twitter feed had no mention of these scenes. Americans ignoring physical distancing rules as they marked the unofficial start of summer. Those images aren't knocking Trump off his message. He's still encouraging more states to reopen more businesses. He's now threatening North Carolina that he'll move the Republican National Convention to another state unless crowd size restrictions there are lifted. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Washington.
Now, President Trump says he has completed his treatment with hydroxychloroquine. That is the anti-malaria drug he's promoted as a therapy for coronavirus. Trump says he started the unproven treatment after 2 White House aides tested positive for COVID-19. But in an interview on Sunday, he said he'd finished taking the drug after a 2-week course. This comes as the World Health Organization announced it is suspending a trial of hydroxychloroquine.
There's no issue, there is no signal. We're just acting on an abundance of caution.
Last week, a medical study suggested people taking the drug were at higher risk for heart problems and potentially death.
Turning now to other news. Nova Scotians are being reminded of a province-wide fire ban tonight as crews continue to battle several large fires in the region.
We ran 130 calls this weekend. Of that 130 calls, 92 were for outside fires, which should not have happened at all.
Officials say frustration is growing as open fires break out across the province. Crews are already battling at least 2 out-of-control fires, burning a combined 100 hectares. And newly released documents are shedding light on the RCMP's investigation into last month's mass shooting in Nova Scotia. They show police have seized a number of computers, cell phones, and 2 vehicles from the gunman's denture clinic with the hopes of tracking the moves he made prior to his rampage that left 22 people dead. They also searched his cottage in Portapic, where ammunition, pieces of a rifle, and what was left of a receipt book was found. Huawei CFO Meng Wanzhou's long extradition battle could finally end after a BC Supreme Court judge delivers a crucial legal decision this Wednesday. And if a recent photo shoot on the courthouse steps is any indication, she's feeling confident. Here's Laura Lynch with the CBC News exclusive.
She certainly looks like a winner. Meng Wanzhou, fighting extradition to the U.S., joined a staged photo shoot on the courthouse steps Saturday evening. But friends' efforts to adjust her ankle bracelet are a dead giveaway. Despite the smiles, she's still under house arrest, awaiting judgment on Wednesday.
I've had people ask me about a victory lap. Well, you photograph for both contingencies, right? It's rather like preparing a headline in advance.
You'd think she'd keep a lower profile ahead of a ruling that could set her free or keep her under house arrest for months to come. In that sense, the stakes are high for a case that's drawn international attention.
The judge has the responsibility to either commit or to discharge. Those are the only 2 options that the judge has.
Meng's been in detention at home for 18 months, her movements limited. Each day of the hearings, Meng swept into court with her security guards in tow. Inside the courtroom, her lawyers argued the charges she faces in the United States, fraud and violating sanctions on Iran, don't constitute a crime in Canada. Crown prosecutors, though, say her actions, allegedly lying to a bank, are an offense in both Canada and the United States. In the midst of all the legal arguments, 2 Canadians, Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig, remain in prison in China, where they were detained days after Meng's arrest. The Prime Minister says China's efforts to link their fate to Meng's won't influence the courts here.
We will continue to follow and uphold the independence of our judicial system while we advocate for the release of the two Michaels who have been arbitrarily detained by China.
Meng's lawyer won't talk about his client's apparent victory photo shoot or her case ahead of the ruling. Only then will they know whether she'll be smiling like this for all the cameras or returning to her house arrest. Laura Lynch, CBC News, Vancouver.
There is outrage tonight in the UK. The Prime Minister's closest aide says he's not stepping down, but does admit to traveling during the lockdown.
No, I don't regret what I did.
Next, why he and his family traveled hundreds of kilometers when the rest of the country was ordered to stay home.
And the mad rush to get outdoors safely leaves some campers unhappy.
Nothing else we can really plan for the summer except for camping, so I was hoping it would work out.
And New Zealand's Prime Minister unshaken on live TV.
We're just having a bit of an earthquake here.
We're back in 2.
Close.
Welcome back. In the UK, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's top advisor was in the hot seat today. He was trying to justify a 400-kilometer trip to a family cottage while everyone else was being asked to stay home. Margaret Evans has more from London.
Dominic Cummings in the eye of the storm, one with the potential to undermine public trust in the leadership of the man he advises.
When ordinary people were obeying the rules and staying home, Mr. Cummings.
These were some of today's headlines after the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson backed Cummings against accusations that he stretched lockdown rules to suit himself. Back in late March, this is Cummings leaving Downing Street in a hurry, just before he drove some 400 kilometers across England to his parents' family farm, along with his wife, thought to have COVID-19, and their 4-year-old son. Last night, Johnson described it as the act of a concerned father. But it wasn't enough to silence critics, and today Cummings was forced to face the media himself.
Sorry I'm late.
He said he had feared he too would fall ill, and that the decision was about securing childcare from nearby family. There were no apologies.
No, I don't regret what I did. As I said, I think reasonable people may well disagree.
Cummings is already a controversial figure here, often shunning social niceties. Machiavellian, say supporters and critics alike.
Now the fight for Britain really does begin.
There was even a movie about his role in the 2016 Brexit campaign, starring Benedict Cumberbatch. He's boasted in the past about having a hand on the pulse of the people, but he just might have missed on this one. Britain has the largest number of coronavirus deaths in Europe, some 37,000, just now starting to ease out of lockdown.
Everyone has had childcare issues, everyone's with small children. It feels hypocritical, it feels arrogant.
It also feels like a problem that might not disappear for Johnson as much as he might want it to. Margaret Evans, CBC News, London.
Officials in Spain are pushing for a return to tourism as the country eases one of Europe's strictest lockdowns. Starting July 1st, foreign visitors will no longer have to undergo a 2-week quarantine. Now, Spain normally attracts some 80 million tourists a year. The announcement comes as phase 1 of reopening began in some of the country's biggest cities.
Now, while the pandemic has created a massive appetite for information about COVID-19, some see it as an opportunity for disinformation, using social media bots to spread confusion and falsehoods. Katie Nicholson explains.
I'm going to show you how to make a Twitter bot.
Bots, those fake accounts that retweet, comment, and sometimes get nasty on Twitter. They're easy to create, and according to a new study, they're pushing a lot of coronavirus content.
We knew there would be a lot of bots, but it was surprising how many of them there were.
Researchers at Carnegie Mellon examined more than 200 million tweets about COVID-19 since the beginning of the pandemic and found 45% were from bots. Like this one, used to push anti-lockdown and anti-mask messaging. Researchers say some bots seem to be promoting havoc, but others have a clear goal.
Some of them are definitely, promoting the agendas of different countries.
That messaging from state-run media or government leaders then gets tweeted and retweeted by bots, spreading the message and making it seem like a widely held belief.
Hundreds and hundreds of fake accounts.
If you ask the conservative-leaning Leadership Institute, two countries in particular come to mind.
China is very actively working to try to rewrite the narrative. How are they doing that? Well, number one, they're accusing the United States of being the origin of the virus.
Like this tweet from a Chinese government official implying the U.S. Army created the virus. And then there's Russia, which disinformation watchdogs say is pushing ideas like hand washing doesn't help prevent the spread of COVID.
The Russians are clearly engaged in an effort to prolong the pandemic outside of Russia as long as possible.
And the EU says that false information is also dangerous.
Unlike during previous cases of political disinformation, here actually people's lives are at stake, people's health is at stake. So this is what makes it very dangerous.
The Chinese embassy didn't respond, but Russia did, saying that a few biased experts were trying to blame Russia for all the world's calamities. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Toronto.
Ahead on The National, your next dentist appointment will definitely look different.
And that's 36.1.
We take you inside some offices as they reopen for a look at the challenges of keeping you safe during your visit.
But first, after this scene in Toronto over the weekend, we asked the doctors, are parts of the country reopening too quickly? Easing lockdowns is like tiptoeing across a high wire. How do you balance the need to reopen businesses with that of preventing a second wave? Well, across Canada, it's a real mix of strategies. New Brunswick was the first province to pull the trigger on lifting some restrictions. That was at the end of April.
Within 10 minutes of the announcement, my phone started ringing.
Now you can go see a dentist in Saskatchewan, get a haircut in Alberta, or eat out in BC.
We missed the dim sum, yeah, for sure.
But sticking to new guidelines is a challenge, to be sure.
All of the compliance things that we need to do now for COVID, plexiglass, 2 meters, the space, 50% capacity, all these things add up to making it very, very difficult.
And for some people, especially those in the harder hit provinces like Quebec and Ontario, it can feel like things are moving too quickly.
I think it's just we're just opening ourselves up a little bit more to the risks.
But what's clear, this High Wire Act has a captive audience of millions, waiting, watching, holding its breath. So from relief to fear to frustration, there are a heck of a lot of emotions tied up with reopening. So joining us to talk about that is psychiatrist Dr. Rima Styra. And once again, we've got infectious diseases specialist Dr. Isaac Bogosh joining us. And Dr. Bogosh, maybe I'll start with you. I mean, clearly how you feel about reopening depends on where you live in this country. But what's your take on the pace of reopening across Canada?
Certainly in some places, I think it's completely appropriate. You've got the eastern provinces, which are having, 0 to 1 new cases per day. It's completely reasonable to start lifting these public health restrictions, but while still being careful. But then you've got places like Ontario and Quebec, which are still having a significant number of new cases per day, primarily focused in and around the Greater Toronto area and in and around Montreal. And, perhaps we might need a patchwork of reopening that enables the safer parts of the provinces to reopen, but might maintain some of the current restrictions in the heavier hit areas.
Right. And Dr. Styra, of course, I mean, when you talk about a province like Ontario where there is a higher caseload, not everyone is comfortable to start shopping at their local bookstore or hop back on an airplane. It's like some of us want normalcy, but aren't quite ready for it yet.
For it, yeah. So I think, one of the big things is that we all have to assess our own individual tolerance of risk. For example, some people might have a higher tolerance of risk, others might be a little bit more vulnerable. And it also depends on what we're comfortable in terms of mitigating factors. So when you start thinking about individuals who might be more vulnerable, for example, people who've already been identified as high risk for COVID-19, based on age, based on medical problems, individuals who might have already had, for example, an anxiety disorder, where they were already trying to deal with anxiety, and now the COVID-19 has actually increased that anxiety, they're going to be more vulnerable and more reticent in terms of progressing forwards.
Dr. Bogosh, you know, something that may have been anxiety-inducing over the weekend, you know, we saw what happened at a park in Toronto. Let's go ahead and show photos. This is Trinity Bellwoods Park. And Dr. Bogosh, we've heard you say that it's safer being outdoors than indoors, but when we're talking that many people, tell me what we can learn from this.
Yeah, these are scenes that clearly we don't want to be having more of moving forward. And of course, we know things are safer outside when we think about transmission of COVID-19, but not when you have thousands and thousands of people clustered together closely like that. That's clearly unacceptable. But, you know, we saw other scenes of that park where, you know, kudos to the people who were out there who were separating themselves by 2 meters, you know, and kudos to the other people in and around the GTA who were also enjoying the nice weather in other parks. And we saw lots of other scenes of people separating by 2 meters. But clearly, you know, it's not acceptable to cluster together like that, especially with thousands of people. Even if you are outside, it's just not acceptable, and there certainly is risk for transmitting the infection in those settings.
And so, Dr. Styra, when people are balancing their COVID fatigue with the risk of getting together with other people again, how do you expect folks will navigate that?
I think they're going to navigate it by basically taking small steps. There's a lot of uncertainty right now still in terms of transmission and how we can protect ourselves. So we always feel comfortable in environments that we're familiar with. It helps us feel that we have a better control of the situation. So I can see people moving forwards, meeting in groups in terms of family or close friends. And as they become a little bit more comfortable with that, they're going to expand their reach and start thinking about all the other kinds of things that we want to do. We're a very social creature. We enjoy being with others. We enjoy all kinds of activities, including entertainment, sports activities. So we're going to try and focus on seeing how we can actually mitigate that uncertainty.
Right. And so, Dr. Bogosh, let me give you the last word. Those small steps that we're all thinking about taking forward, you know, the approach to finding that balance between reopening and risk, what's your take?
It's going to be challenging. Obviously, it's not feasible to stay in a lockdown until we have a vaccine. And clearly, it's not acceptable to just reopen the economy like nothing ever happened. And I think that's almost a false narrative that's being portrayed in some circles. There's got to be some middle ground. There's got to be some balance. And if we have the tools in place to rapidly identify cases, support people through 14 days of isolation, do rapid contact tracing, have a good understanding of where these infections are occurring in the community, I think we can safely reopen the economy. But I still think we have to always be prepared in the pre-vaccine era that to manage uncertainty, and there will always be a potential risk that this infection can be brought into any setting. So we have to. We're basically going to be living with risk for the foreseeable future. We just can make it as low risk as possible.
All right, doctors, thanks so much for your time. Good to talk to you.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
We do ask your questions about COVID-19 just about every night here on this program. So if you've got some for our doctors, send them in. You can message us directly on Instagram at CBC The National, or send us an email at covid@cbc.ca. Just put The National in the subject line.
Reopening can be daunting when you have to completely change how you operate in order to stay safe.
Don't bring it, don't spread it, don't catch it.
Good advice. Next, we look at how some smaller companies are getting help and making it work.
And after months spent locked inside, Canadians are ready to go camping. The huge demand to get outdoors ahead on The National.
My name is Regina. I'm the owner of a gift shop in downtown Toronto. I have been in the retail industry for over 20 years. I was feeling completely overwhelmed through this lockdown. How am I going to sustain my business? How am I going to keep my employees? I'm feeling anxious about reopening. We have to consider social distancing. Do I and my staff have to wear masks? I'm just going to have to figure it out as we go. Keeping our store clean is going to be a big part of this moving forward. This is the time to rethink what we are doing, to have a new mindset, getting into this new normal. We have decided to totally shift our business model to help out local artists because we are really all in this together. We are going to create a space to create more visibility for their work. We can't get back what has been lost, so I have to focus on the future.
So Regina is not alone. Business owners across Canada are wondering how to reopen safely. In fact, there are new companies making that their business. Tom Murphy now on a pest control outfit that signed up for some help.
It's bug season, and COVID-19 is proving to be the most pesky of all. It's leaving pest control specialist Andrew Wheelock feeling, quite frankly, a little out of control, trying to ramp up business.
At first there was a lot of uncertainty and anxiety really about what way do I go. Oh, it's very confusing.
Keep our distance.
He needed a crash course in the new low-touch economy.
And the PPE requirements.
Carrie Jennings is part of a new company with a COVID-19 mantra to help other small businesses.
So we start with don't bring it, don't spread it, don't catch it.
So how do you manage all that? The key, says Jennings, is to have a well-thought-out operational plan. Identify the hotspots where physical distancing should be a priority, like the office.
Hi, Sal.
Hi, Andrew.
Michael's day is 10
No one hangs out at the water cooler anymore.
Did you check in with him that he's connected with all his PPE, he has his gloves?
Of course, your staff will need personal protective equipment. Wheelock has enough masks, gloves to get the job done, but...
You know, it's been a challenge getting an inventory of these supplies right now. But I think as time goes on, we'll have more and more.
Then you have to train your staff about proper hygiene. He likes to do it in front of the customer to instill confidence that precautions are being taken. And finally, signage is the nudge to remind people why the new protocols are so important. But when you have to go inside other people's property, where the pests and hopefully not COVID-19 may be lurking, some employees still have concerns about that.
I myself do, but as slowly as we're getting back to normal, I will go back into houses. We do have technicians that are comfortable with that, and they're going to go inside.
And that's okay, says Jennings. Listen to your staff. Do it wrong, and your company could pay the price.
If you don't get it right, then your employees and your customers do have other choices. You may not have a business if you can't get employees and customers and potentially other stakeholders to come back.
It has to be part of our culture of safety to do all the steps to make sure that we can avoid the virus to the extent that we can.
A new way of thinking that could be around for a while until there's a widely available vaccine or the next viral pest comes along. Tom Murphy, CBC News, Halifax.
Now, dentists are having to adopt a new way of thinking as well. As offices begin slowly reopening across the country, new protocols are in place to keep patients safe. Briar Stewart takes us inside.
Preparing for a patient takes a lot longer now at this Vancouver dental office.
2 masks. We have a KN95 and then we have a level 3 mask over top.
This clinic is gradually reopening with many more precautions.
And it's 36.1, so it's great.
Normally, this practice would see between 40 and 50 patients a day. Now they're seeing only a handful.
We'll be scheduling more time for patients. The disinfecting protocols will be different. We're also going to be making sure that the social distancing is recognized and followed.
It's a similar story across the country.
It's so good to see you guys, huh?
I desperately need my teeth cleaned.
This Toronto dentist and his team set up a check-in where patients could come and ask about any concerns they might have. In Ontario, dental visits were restricted to emergencies, but they can now see patients for essential services as well, like if someone needed a root canal, but only if the dentists have the proper protective equipment. Not only are they working closely with patients, Some procedures generate aerosols which can transmit the virus.
10,000 dentists here in the province. So just imagine the amount of PPE that we're seeking, that we're needing.
A survey in Ontario found that in April, 40% of dentists were not able to see their patients for emergencies. The biggest reason? They didn't have enough safety gear. And that isn't the only problem.
Toronto dental office is very expensive.
Dr. Sura Haddad has been at this Halifax clinic for more than 10 years. It's been closed for the past 2 months, but she still has thousands of dollars in rent and loan payments to cover.
And I don't know if we're going to be able to bring all staff back or what's going to happen. It's just so hard.
Have a little look.
Because when dental offices do reopen, they won't be seeing the same volume of patients as they did before. All part of the new reality of operating during a pandemic. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Vancouver.
Next, the race to secure that coveted camping site.
Tried probably in upwards of 50 times, going in and out with it crashing, different sites. Spent all of 3 hours doing that and still don't have a site.
After months in quarantine and travel plans on hold, the call of the wild is a little louder this year, but can supply meet demand? Welcome back. Canadians cooped up because of COVID-19 are desperate to go get outdoors. BC saw unprecedented demand for campsite spots this morning. And as Jacqueline Hansen tells us, people across the country are gearing up for a summer outside.
A long line of people eager to get gear and get outside. The wilderness is calling even more people than usual this year. BC started taking online camping reservations this morning, and right away, 50,000 people tried to get a spot.
Got ready to go right at 7 o'clock. I thought this is going to be great. I'm going to get exactly the site that I picked out, and it crashed.
Tried probably in upwards of 50 times, going in and out with it crashing, different sites. Spent all of 3 hours doing that and still don't have a site.
Nothing else we can really plan for the summer except for camping, so I was hoping it would work out.
The province says while we made efforts to be ready for additional demand, this rate of reservations exceeds those seen anywhere. Alberta opened its booking system earlier this month, and snagging a campsite there was also a challenge. Now, with summer looming and travel plans canceled, some retailers are seeing a big interest in outdoor gear.
We're starting to see more and more of the family camping and more of the bigger, higher ticket price tents and sleeping bags and furniture start to fly off the shelves.
We've got about 700 watercraft, self-propelled watercraft in our rental fleet, mostly canoes, but a lot of kayaks.
This rental company near Ontario's Algonquin Park says international reservations are down.
But on the other hand, the domestic business is definitely looking really strong.
There's hope even more Canadians will want a change of scenery.
The main reason people go on canoe trips at any time before all this happened is to get away from the pressures of everyday life, get out into nature, reconnect with their family and friends in new and different and adventurous ways. And so I think those things are going to be of way more importance now.
And staying a paddle apart here is second nature. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
So the Canadian Screen Awards for Broadcast News were handed out tonight, and CBC News won 7, including 1 for CBC Ottawa and 2 for the Fifth Estate.
Yeah, and so the two of us and Rosie and Ian are very thankful to be named Best National News Anchors and proud of our colleagues whose work was also honored. The team behind Scars Left Behind won Best News or Information segment. Joanna Remiliotis spoke with 2 survivors of Toronto's deadly van attack. Paul Hunter takes the Best National Reporter Award for his in-depth coverage of U.S. politics, and for Best Photography, News or Information, Jared Thomas for his work on the climate change story, Dying Glaciers. Well, the pandemic has given live TV some unpredictable sights and sounds. Interviews have been interrupted by children, dogs, ringing phones, flushing toilets even. But a recent interruption we saw overseas, pretty exceptional, as the Prime Minister of New Zealand was giving an interview from Parliament House, nicknamed the Beehive. Everything shifted all at once, and that is our moment.
Morning.
We're just having a bit of an earthquake here, Ryan. Quite a decent shake here, but if you see things moving behind me, the beehive moves a little more than most.
Jacinda Ardern already had a reputation for keeping her cool. She's been widely praised for her country's handling of COVID-19. Even an earthquake while on a morning TV show couldn't faze her.
Has it stopped, Prime Minister, or is it still going?
Yep, no, it's just stopped.
Okay, and you're feeling safe and well to continue the interview?
No, we're fine, Ryan. I'm not under any hanging lights. I look like I'm in a structurally sound, sound place.
Okay, so that is definitely cool, calm, and collected. She's right, definitely was an earthquake, was not her imagination. 5.8, it hit about 100 kilometers away, but good reason for that big smile. No signs of injury or any damage.
Right, which is the important part in all of this. But it occurs to me that, I mean, you and I and lots of people in our field have a very intimate understanding of how difficult it is to remain composed and coherent when you're on live television. And that's not a skill you get to practice all that often. So, hey, kudos to her. That was impressive. That's
that would have been a disaster.
For this May 25th. Have a good night.